Well, hello, good morning and welcome to this week's live cooking session. It's great to be back. Last week I had a week off, so it seems like ages since I last did a cooking session. I hope you're all well and the weather is being kind to you. I think back in the UK, I think you've had some rain this week, so it's turning out to be a beautiful day here in Portugal. So today I am going to go through how to make seedy crackers. Now this is one of the recipes that you'll find in my book, Eat Well, Live Well, with the sensitive foodie. And it's also one of the recipes that I get quite a few questions about because it's not difficult to make, but it's just sometimes they crack up a little bit. So I thought if I showed you how I do it, then it might make it a little bit more understandable. So I have already, in true Blue Peter style, here's some I made earlier, and so they turn out to be these. You can make them whatever shape you like. That could be a diamond or a square. And they're basically just packed full of seeds. That's it. You can change the seeds according to however you want them, whatever you want to be in them. So if you can't tolerate sesame seeds, for example, then you can just increase your pumpkin seeds or sunflower seeds, whatever it is that you've got. So what binds these together is there's a mixture of chia seeds and ground flax seeds, and both of these, as well as going really gloopy and thick once they hit water, they also have some fabulous omega-3 fatty acids in there. So I have, I'm going to talk about that a little bit in a second because I want to actually get the mix going. So in my bowl here, I've got, now I'm doing half because I've just made a full lot. So I've got 45 grams of sunflower seeds, 40 grams of pumpkin seeds, 40 grams of sesame seeds, and the same for chia seeds. I'm going to say something about that in a minute. 20 grams of ground flaxseed. I've also added in a little bit of Himalayan salt, some garlic powder and some mixed herbs. Now with the flavourings, you can do whatever you want with them. You don't have to put those in them, but I quite like them as an additional flavouring. You could just put salt and pepper in, you could put a little bit of chili flakes, something like that, depends on what you like. Morning Sally, nice to see you, thanks for joining us. So I've got all of that in the bowl and I'm just going to mix that together, just to make sure that everything is combined. And then I'm going to add in 125 mils of water, and I have duly moved my scale, so I'm going to use a measuring cup instead. So this is a quarter cup, so 2 of those. I'm just going to pour that in, going to mix that together, and then we're just going to put that to one side for a second. Morning Mandy, thank you for joining us. I hope you're all right up on your hill today. It's not too bad here. So just going to mix that together, and then I'm just going to put that to one side, because what we want to happen is the water is going to combine with the chia seeds and the flax seeds, and as that becomes gloopy, that's actually going to bind the mix together. So at the minute, as you can see, it's got a little bit of water in there, so we'll come back to that in a second. So like I say, I made these earlier, so I discovered that whilst I was putting the mix together, my mind wandered, and I actually ended up adding in too many chia seeds. And it turns out that was a good mistake to make, because actually the crackers sometimes can be quite fragile, and they've worked out much better than normal. So obviously I didn't. It did need some more chia seeds in there. So sometimes, well, a lot of the time we learn by mistakes. So that's why I've increased them in. So I'll show you what we do with it in a minute to get it out into the baking tin. But once they're baked, you can see we're going to score out the size of them into however you want, and then you should just be able to break them off. You have to be quite gentle but you can just break them into whatever shape, whatever shape you've cut out. I'm never very accurate with the sizes, so sometimes they turn out to be quite small. But these square ones are quite a nice one, because they're good for dipping then. So these will keep in an airtight container for up to 3 weeks if you manage not to eat them all. And like I said earlier, you can play around with the flavours as much as you like. So it will make more sense in a minute, but what we're going to do is we're going to put the mix onto the baking paper on the baking tray before we put it in the oven. And I just want to demonstrate, because you have to turn it halfway through in the oven. And obviously I haven't got any of those to hand, so what I thought I'd just demonstrate, you need some imagination. So this has just come out of the oven, and one side, the top side, will be quite firm, and you just need to tip this over. So very, very carefully, you just grab the baking paper and tip it over, and then you peel the baking paper off, so that you're cooking the other side as well. So as you do that, it shouldn't break. So it should be all held together quite nicely. And then that way it will cook on both sides without the baking paper sticking to it. Then when it is cooked, you just need to take them out the oven, transfer them to a cooling rack like I have here, and just leave them to cool before then you start snapping them into the sizes. So I hope that all makes sense. And the wonderful thing about these crackers is obviously that they're gluten-free, but they're completely unrefined, so nothing at all has been taken out. So you're getting all of the nutrients in the seeds, all of the nutrients so with that you've got lots of fibre, protein, you've got some minerals, you've got healthy fats. So it really is a whole food, because a lot of the crackers that you buy in the shops, they contain additives, highly refined products, lots of flours and binding agents. And the only thing with this that's actually been refined or broken down is the flaxseed, so using ground flaxseed. But that's because you have to grind your flaxseed, because otherwise if you eat it as a seed, it will just come out the same way as it went in, basically, because the tough outer shell we just can't break that down. It's too fibrous. So actually by grinding your flaxseed, you're enabling yourself access to all the nutrients in there anyway. So whilst I have been waffling on, you should be able to see now, if I hold this up without dropping it, is all that water now has been absorbed and it's firm and sticky. So I'm just going to, let me just check, yeah, just going to put that out onto the baking sheet. Now you can, if you have a silicone mat, you can use the silicone mat. But this is the non-stick baking paper. So, and I find it easier to use a spatula to do this. You could use a big metal spoon, but you don't want it to stick to the spoon. So this spatula actually works quite well. Now I'm pressing quite firmly whilst I'm spreading it out. So I hope you can see what I'm doing here. Morning Helena, thank you for joining us, good morning. So I'm pressing quite hard, and in that process as well, the pressing's actually helping it all bind together a bit more. So I'm spreading it out, trying to spread it out as equally as possible. So it really is a matter of just keep working around, because if it's thicker in one bit, then they won't cook equally. Thank you, Mandy. Mandy says they look delicious. Yes, and they're gluten-free. I'm surprised I haven't made you these before, Mandy. That's very naughty of me. Next time we see each other, I'll make you some. So just still spreading out and, like I say, pressing quite firmly. Remember I said this is the half mixture. So the amount I've made over there, that was a full mixture. But because I've already got one lot, I'm just making a half now. So that's It's not quite flat all around. And there we go, that's looking better. Try not to do it. What's quite tricky is not to get the edges too thin, because again they will then cook too quickly and then they start to burn. So if you find your edges when you spread very, very thin, just build it up at the side slightly. I hope you can see what I'm doing there. And there you go. So the only other thing we need is to grab a knife and then just cut them. You're not cutting all the way through, but you're marking out quite well. So you're not going all the way through, but you are firmly, that's the word I'm thinking of, marking them out so that they will snap when they're cooked. So, what's that, Mandy? I'll swap you some cauliflower seedlings. Oh, yes, please. Yeah. And then I'm just going the other way, making some random shapes. I went to the organic farm in the week and I've got some purple cauliflower. Last time I got yellow cauliflower from them, and this week we've got purple cauliflower. It's very exciting. That is how exciting our life is the fact that different coloured cauliflowers are the highlight of the week. So there we go. So like I say, there you go. I've just marked them all out. That is going to go into the oven. Now we need a slightly lower heat because the seeds have got some quite delicate oils in them, so we don't want it too hot. So you want it about 160, 165 degrees Celsius, which I think is about 300 Fahrenheit, and gas mark 3. These will go in the oven, in the middle of the oven, for 25 minutes. If you've got quite a powerful fan oven, then I check that a few minutes before that, sort of somewhere just after 20 minutes, just to make sure that it's not burning. And then after that time, remember I said you lift this paper up, you carefully turn it over because the top half by then will be firm and not sticky. And then, then you can peel off the paper, put it back in the oven for 20 minutes, and then they will come out nice and firm and cooked like these ones. Put them onto cooling rack. Once they're cold, just break them up and snap them like that. And that is it. That's as simple as that. They are really useful and a wonderful snack to have in boxes and for dipping and lunch and soups and all sorts of things. So I do hope you'll give that a go. I will put all the ingredients and everything up on the blog post, but the ingredients are on the page somewhere, so you can find all of those if you want to make them yourself. And if you do let me know how you get on. And right, so there's a couple of other things I wanted to share with you. Oh yes, I hope you saw my post earlier in the week about this online summit that starts on Monday, this Transformational Health Summit. So it's a free to access, there is nothing to buy. And it's 21 speakers over a period, I think it's over 3 weeks, I think there's one speaker every day, talking about their healing journey, how they transform their health. And I'm really happy to say that I was one of those speakers, so it's very exciting. There's a link, I'll post the link again. If you register, you might not want to hear me waffle on once again, but there's some amazing stories on there which are designed to help uplift everybody and to try and get some positivity going on, because there's a lot of negative stuff happening. So do sign up for that, that would be brilliant. Like I said, there's a link there. There's been a little bit of difficulties for some people once they've actually put their details in, but you should receive a confirmation email saying that all is good. Mandy says, how do you store them to keep them crispy? Oh, just put them in an airtight container. So yeah, just any tub or tin, and they stay crispy. It's magic. So that's that. Also, I'm currently working on putting together a special summer course. It's a 2-week program, well, 14-day program. It's not going to be timed, so you can do it whenever you want to. Again, to help the summer's a really, really good time to start getting new habits because there's so many lovely, fresh, seasonal produce available, and it's much easier to make positive change when the weather's better, you're feeling lighter. And so I'm putting together this 14-day program, so there's new information and new recipes to try every day. So that's going to be ready in a couple of weeks, and when it is, I'll post some details about that as well. And finally, in August, I'm going to be sharing some information about an incredible offer of access to loads and loads of resources about plant-based eating. So it's going to be it could be some software, some ebooks. My course, or version of my course, is going to be part of that, and it's incredible value. So it's like a pack of stuff. So I think there's going to be about 30 different resources in there for $49. So it's going to be a real bargain. Put it this way, I'm going to be buying one, even though I'm featured in it. So I haven't got all the details there yet, but do look out for that, because that's going to be really, really exciting. I think that's it for now. Right, if you make these crackers, please do post some pictures. I do love seeing what you've made. I think I saw Julie pop by, and she posted some pictures on Instagram the other day of the pumpkin scone, of the carrot scones, not the pumpkin scones, the savoury scones, which was really lovely to see. So yeah, do share your pictures. If there's anything that you want to know how to make, or you are stuck with something you think I might be able to help with, do let me know, because every week I think, oh, what shall I make this week? So if there's something that you really want to know, do let me know. So I just thought I'd show you. I explained on the Facebook Live about turning the crackers over, but I wasn't sure if I was making myself clear. So anyway, I thought I'd show you. So this is just come out the oven. It's been in the oven for 25 minutes, touching the top, and it's quite firm. So I'm just going to pick up the paper, and you can see it's still holding onto the paper, and just gently turn it over, and then peel that paper off. So because the top half is firm, because it's always a little bit damp where the paper's been, but the other side is firm, so now it won't stick to the baking tin. And just very carefully peeling the rest of that off, she says. There we go. And now that's going to go back into the oven for another 20 minutes, and this side will firm up, and then I'll pop it on a cooling rack and then break it into the cracker pieces. Okay, that hopefully made more sense.